All right, good evening. Yeah. Good evening. It's glad to see everybody here. It's time to call the Franklin City Council meeting to order. It is October 19th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Just a minute, I'm not.
Okay, I can be smoother the next time.
Okay, try.
Want me to start over? Okay, good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting. It's October 19th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Austin?
Here.
Mr. Blankenship?
Here.
Mr. Hukin?
Here.
Ms. Jones? Here. Ms. McGinnis? Here. Mr. Rainierson?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Sir, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mike Reese, prayer and pledge, please.
All right, that's great. Father, we come to you tonight. We just thank you so much for the privilege to meet together again tonight. As the business of our city is handled, I pray that you give our elected leaders wisdom and discretion as they make decisions tonight. As we come up upon another election season in our country, and I pray we would all go out and practice our right and privilege of voting. And we pray for your divine hand on the process and the results. We pray we trust you that all of our leaders locally and nationally, the hearts of the leaders will be in your hand. Bless this evening. Thank you for a new season. Thank you for starting to see some events going. Looking forward to this Saturday with Halloween Town and Trick or Trunk. I pray for blessings upon that and that it would all go well. Give us a good rest of the night. In your name, amen. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, I know that Marty probably has an announcement.
Yes, sir. On behalf of Discover Downtown, everybody, I'd like to thank you for all your continued support and backing. Just got done for, I think, a very successful farmers market for the year. Finally got it in, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. Rosie, do you have anything to add?
Hey, Culver's is open.
Yeah.
That's excitement.
Yeah, we did a ribbon cutting today at Culver's. Hey, any other announcements, presentations, public comments? Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do the
Yeah,
update.
yeah, that way you can leave, right? So I did. Well, I asked Mark, since we have a short schedule tonight, or a short agenda, to give us an update, give the council an update on all the projects. So, thank you, sir.
He's wanting me to fill time so you guys can't go home. I have a number of projects that I'd like to give you an update on. First is the Forest Road Reconstruction. The city awarded a contract to Able America Contractor, Inc. in the amount of $842,697. The engineer's estimate was $1.325 million, roughly. We did receive community crossings money for the project. I guess fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your viewpoint, we didn't get the entire award that we had received. We would have received 50% of the engineer's estimate had the bid come in at that level. That would have given us about $661,000. The final PO that we received was half of the bid amount, which was $421,000. So we left about $240,000 on the table. We will be submitting an application for some additional funding this week. So there may be an opportunity to recover some of that. The road did close on September 21st and must reopen to traffic by November 20th. Depending on weather conditions, the surface layer of asphalt and the pavement markings may have to extend into 2021. If that happens, then we will put some temporary pavement markings down. All of the right-of-way has been secured and utility coordination has been completed. There have been minimal conflicts, and actually there have been some of the relocations completed. Johnson County RMC, if Mr. Works was here, he'd be happy to hear that they have committed to relocating their facilities underground. And when I finish up with a project, if you have any questions, jump in with, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll move on. The West Jefferson Street Trail Project, that project is substantially complete as of September 9th. The only thing that's lacking is the landscape plantings and some punch list items. Those plantings will be completed during the appropriate fall and spring planting seasons. On the Westview Roundabout project, it was substantially complete on September 4th, following the installation of lighting. That was completed about 5 p.m. that afternoon, which was a Friday. Early the next morning, about 4:30, there was a traffic accident where someone drove through the center of the roundabout. The crash report was filed by the police department, and luckily the driver was insured. Those repairs and claims will be done over the next several weeks to few months, depending on how long it takes to order in limestone blocks and things like that that have to be remanufactured and recut to reinstall on the roundabout. Last estimate I heard was about $60,000 worth of damage. For South Main Street, that project's about 60% complete. The contractor was delayed for a few weeks due to some unresolved utility conflicts with CenturyLink. That has since been resolved. At least the schedule part of it has. We will attempt to recover costs that we incur as a result of their failure to get the relocation completed in a timely manner. The contractor has completed installation of storm sewer and is currently working on curb, sidewalk, and driveway approaches. Subgrade stabilization is also complete for the roadway, and I would expect that there be some asphalt installed probably next week if weather cooperates. The Amphitheater project, construction began on September 21st. We did receive our DNR construction and floodway permit back at the end of August, which was really what was causing the delays in getting started on the work. Tree clearing and site grading has been performed over the past couple of weeks. If you've been out there, you'll notice that the site is really cleared out, and you can see things starting to take shape. We've paid a couple of pay estimates totaling about $97,000, so the entire project, I'm trying to rely on my faulty memory, but it's somewhere in the $5.7 million range. And the mayor's nodding, so I think I'm close. Access to the farmer's market parking lot was restricted at Monroe Street, effective on October 12th, I think, wasn't it, Marty? Yeah. The access to the west annex lot will not be restricted for now, but it will be once they have to move up into that area to do work. There may be a need, and I'll have to talk with the mayor and Chief Cochran about this, but there may be a need for the city to provide some sort of traffic direction once that entrance to that annex lot is closed, because all that traffic from the county will have to go through the farmer's market lot and then exit or enter off of Jefferson Street. The Andy Street project, that's the brick reconstruction of Yandy Street for about 5 blocks, and also Madison Street, in front of Madison Street salvage. The work continues on the environmental document on that. We expect the submittal of that to be prior to the end of the year. We expect design approval by July 2021 and project letting through NDOT in November of 2021. Construction would then start in the spring of 2022. We also have a project on Jim Black Road. That design work has started. This is going to be a little bit different than County Road 525 or Forest Road. Forest Road is going to be a 2-lane section with 3-foot shoulders, paved shoulders on each side. Jim Black Road, we're going with a 3-lane reconstruction, so it'll have a center turn lane, along with the 3-foot shoulders, paved shoulders on each side. Our current construction cost estimate for that phase is about $600,000. It's actually a little bit less than that, but that $600,000 is what RDC has kind of programmed in for their expenses on construction. We have a couple of bypass roundabouts that are going to be in construction over the next few years, plus a roundabout at Earlywood and Graham. So Arvin Commerce, our right-of-way construction is underway. That project, the design is essentially complete. So we expect bidding and award of a construction contract in January of 2021 and construction starting in April of next year. Commerce and Graham construction would be planned for 2022, and then Earlywood Graham construction in 2023. The Sanitary Sewer Interceptor projects, we have 2. One is an east side project out near the industrial properties on the east side of I-65. That project is currently in land acquisition stage. The design is essentially complete on that. Once all the easements have been secured at the southern end of the project, we will bid that out. All easements north of State Road 44 will be acquired through the planning process, and those will be acquired from developers at no cost to the city. And then on the west side, we have another Interceptor project, which is basically to expand capacity on the west side, because with all of the residential development that's occurring and what we know developers are looking to acquire on that west side, we're going to be out of capacity very quickly. So we have to do something to provide that additional capacity, and that's really one of the critical things that we have to deal with out there. We have met with the Franklin Community High School staff to discuss impacts and routes in the vicinity of their project, or of their facility. They have a wetland mitigation project that they had to complete as part of the high school development, so we're making sure that we stay out of that. We've also just issued survey letters for that west side interceptor. Last week, we are starting to get property owners coming in and asking questions about that. So we're providing route information, or at least preliminary route information, so that they understand what the project is. This is just so that they can the surveyors can access their properties. The US 31 project, that's moving along. It's in environmental document preparation stage right now. There's really not any updates on design or anything like that. The stage 1 design is complete. Those plans are used to then develop a utility coordination plan, and then also identify the geometry of what land needs to be acquired, so that we can then go in and do the right-of-way engineering, do the appraisals, and start negotiating with property owners. So NDOT, I believe, is going to be handling all of the land acquisition on that project.
Well, I think, great job, by the way, thank you. There's one project, the school zone project.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forget about that, because it's, I haven't had much contact with either the consultant or the contractor. That's another federal aid project. It is in construction right now. It's the flashing lights in school zones. So when the lights are flashing, that's when speeds are reduced. If they're not flashing, then speed limit is whatever it's normally set at. We will also be installing crosswalk signals at the Greenways Trail crossings of Monroe Street, Jeff Street, and King Street. The contractor is working on putting the foundations in, installing the equipment. They're telling me they'll have it done by the end of this month. So that's kind of a no-pain project. They started construction first of the month, and they're planning to be done in 30 days. We have one other project. It's traffic signal preemption, and we are planning to accelerate that. It's supposed to be, it's scheduled for letting in 2022, July 2022, and we're trying to move that up into probably September, the September range of 21.
One other question was brought to me by city councilman on the back to the school route deal with flashing lights we talked about. The flashing lights that we have now, and I've had several people ask me this, can the bars be raised up a little bit? Because it seems like the bars might be a little low. So my point is, as they're doing the ones now, we don't want them to measure off of our bars. We may want to go ahead and see about what is the right height to get the bars up.
Sure, and I talked with Jason at the street department about that, and that was the height at which the recommended height was. So that's why they were set that height. I mean, they had to actually drill holes in the signal poles and run all the wire and everything. So it's something that probably could have been done differently. I think the issue is when you have like a tall pickup truck or a box truck or something like that that's parked in one of those spots, and it can tend to block those flashing lights. So yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Please feel free.
Mark, good job. Continued success on all projects you're working on. You got plenty to do. And you might have answered this for me as well, but the sidewalk issue on Jefferson Street from Forsyth going down East Jeff, that's next year, correct?
That project will likely be next year. It's combined with the project on the west side of town near the Custer Baker Middle School and Creekside Elementary. That project's going to take a little bit longer to develop because of the environmental requirements. When you're putting sidewalks on school property, you have more hoops that you have to jump through. So we're looking at separating the two projects so that this one can be done sooner, and then when this one's ready, it can be done as well.
So what's your guesstimate for east side?
It would be at the earliest next fall.
Wow. So it went from this year to...
Oh, no, it was never this year. We just got funding this year.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question on the west side roundabout, when those repairs are being made, will you have to close any of?
No, it won't have to be closed. We may have to have flaggers in place if equipment has to be moved in to the roundabout area, but it should not take any closure, any permanent closure or anything.
Two questions. Are we still on track to get within I-65 next year?
The Board of Works signed a contract with HWC Engineering at the meeting tonight to start work on that study.
So if I'd been there, I would have known a little bit more about that.
But that's just a study, though.
Yeah.
That's just a
I
study.
thought I'd heard somewhere where they said 20, where it was indicated 21. I know you can't hold anything to that, but
Well, that's when we would start the study. Now, the contract calls for completion of that study and submission to NDOT by April 15th.
He's talking about the stoplights at King and 65.
Oh, you're, okay. I apologize. I apologize.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, I may not be.
Yeah, that is next year, yes. And I believe that letting will be in July of 2021, so that work would be next year.
Well, people ask, and so it helps.
Yes, I see a lot of the posts on Facebook and
And this might be more of a Krista question, but it seems to me at one point, wasn't there like a master plan to do trails down there along the Youngs Creek, connecting the north side of town to the west side? Or is that just something?
there's a trails and bicycle master plan that was adopted earlier this year. Yes, and that kind of lays out the,
Kind of along where the sewers are?
yeah. And that's one thing that we'll be doing on the west side is it'll be both a trail and a maintenance access, kind of a roadway.
Down along Youngs Creek or?
Well, it will follow the route of the sanitary sewer.
Okay,
So
so it's actually way out there though?
The sewer route is planned for, along Youngs Creek for a short stretch, but, I mean, it starts up at, what is that, Brannigan lift station up at US 31 and Brannigan Road. And it ends up down here south, near the park. Yeah, near the park.
So it doesn't necessarily extend all the way up into the.
It doesn't follow exactly the Youngs Creek bank, but it does in
So
certain
that's
parts.
kind of in the works then?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
All right,
Yeah.
good. All right.
Anything else for Mark?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Good job. All right, is there any other announcements, presentations, and public comment? Man, it's taking a long time to do this. And hearing none, we'll move on. So thanks again, Mark. That gets us to consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to old business.
Move to read old business by title only.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Jones. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. Item number 1, Common Council Budgetary Ordinance number 20-17, Budgetary Ordinance amending, Budgetary Ordinance number 20-01, amending and authorizing the payment of the Sanitary Records Clerk salary for 2020, Civil City, Clerk Treasurer Jane Rhodes, and this is second reading, so it will be a public hearing. Ms. Rhodes, why don't you give us a little recap on what it is?
Okay, as was stated at the last meeting, we're just amending the salary ordinance itself. It's not a money issue at all. The money is there. We do not have to appropriate any new. The records clerk, if you recall, worked in the mayor's office for a period of time, and we needed to change the wording back to the cemetery.
So with that being said, we will open this up to a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience have a question? Hearing none, we'll close public hearing. Does anybody on the council have any questions? Hearing none, we're ready for a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve Common Council Budgetary Ordinance 20-17.
Second.
Second by Ms. McGinnis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will go to the next item. Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 20-11, transfer from Parks 300 Services to Parks 200 Supplies in the amount of $12,000. Clerk Treasurer Jane Rhodes, and I do believe that we approved this the last meeting. However, I don't think we did it the right way. Is that correct?
Well, it was my fault, for the record. I didn't have the correct paperwork so that it could have your signature. You all approved it, but I didn't have the signature page, so I need that. To make it clear though, Chip is not, he is not asking for another $12,000.
Yeah, new buckets?
Yeah.
He only needs one bucket.
Is this for a spare bucket?
So it has been approved, I just need your signature.
So with that being said, let's open, it is a public hearing, so I would open it back up for a public hearing. Does anybody have any questions?
Jane, since that was your fault,
Yes, sir.
does that trigger the cookie thing?
Oh,
Or you be the first person to get splashed with a new bucket?
this wasn't a bucket, this isn't bucket cost here. He's just wanting to buy cleaning supplies.
Okay, we're closing the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Does the council have any comments? Bob, hearing none.
I've already made mine.
Oh, anybody else?
Do we need to?
Do you need
Yes,
another
you
motion?
need to vote on.
I make a motion to approve Common Council Budgetary Resolution number 20-11.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dugan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We go.
Okay. The next, under new business.
Mayor, may we read new business by title only?
Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Read new business by title only. All those in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none. Item number 1, request approval of 2021 budget to amend the city's maximum levy for Treasure Jane Roads.
Okay, so everybody's gonna get a dozen cookies next time, instead of just your 3, so lucky you, Bob. It was brought to my attention by the DLGF that we did not capture our maximum levy. What that means is the 3 properties that were annexed last year, I didn't capture the amount of tax money that we would receive from that. It was approximately $18,000. So I had to redo it and send it back in, so therefore you have to approve the budget. Thank you.
Jane, do we have any time restrictions on this?
Well, yes, because tomorrow I will send this.
But the way the DLGF has crafted this form, it says ordinance and/or resolution.
Right, and we're fine.
They're not requiring 2
No,
readings?
because this is the resolution.
Okay.
It's the one that we previously approved. This one is just amended to have captured the
Yeah.
18,000.
But they use the word or, ordinance or
Yeah.
resolution. You're,
So I'm fine with this. That's what she told me.
okay. And would it help you if there was a motion to unanimously approve on first reading, just in case?
Yes.
Because they sometimes change the rules on you, So,
It's-
as you know, typically on ordinances, we have 2 readings. However, the statute does permit by unanimous decision of the council to approve on first reading. So we would need 2 motions. Number 1, a motion to consider and approve on first reading. That would, if that passes unanimously, then you can move forward and approve the resolution and the ordinance tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 budget on first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second by Mrs. Jones. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none.
Now you can move to approve it.
Motion to approve the 2021 budget.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Jones again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you for finding $18,000.
That's a lot of
And I
cookies.
will, to come to my defense.
That's a lot of cookies.
That takes you off-
That is a lot of
That
cookies.
takes you off the hook.
It does. Usually, when the county sends us our maximum levy sheet that tells what it is, that's the number that we take. Because I called Mr. Peters right away and said, oh no, what? So that's usually the number we take. But this year, it was different. You had to take that they gave them, but then you had to figure in the parcels instead of them figuring.
We need to mark yea, nay.
Yes,
Okay.
would you please? So it was a whole new ballgame, so
And
I'll be smarter next.
And I will tell you, at the board of our meeting this morning with all the department heads, Krista said, well, it sounds like you found some money to do some more alleys or sidewalks.
Not yet.
Not yet, right, okay. All right, any more questions on that? Hearing none, we'll go to other business, and it does seem like I'm dragging the meeting out. It's been a good discussion tonight, so, under other business, the holiday schedule, do we approve that?
Normally, the Board of Works has always approved the holiday schedule, but there's no reason you can't get approval. I guess I never contemplated if one didn't approve and the other did, but it's always been unanimous decision. The Board of Works is the one that actually approves the.
And there's no holidays added. Actually, talk about taking a holiday away, and man, you should have heard what I had. And I was just making a joke, and you would have thought that. So we left the holiday schedule the same. So I guess we would take a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. The next one, approval of the city council 2021 meetings. We've talked about, I know, Mr. Austin for several years about when we have a holiday that takes a meeting away, that we go ahead and do it the following Tuesday or that follows Monday, whichever, or Wednesday, whichever comes first. That's not a conflict with any other city meetings, and the dates we have there, we checked, does not. So that is the dates for the Board of Works and City Council for next year.
Well, I'm going on record, I I will not be there on June the 7th.
Well, that's why I paid this to you early, so you can change your plans.
I won't be,
Okay.
still bring the budget in on June 7th.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we do need a motion to approve that too.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mrs. McGinnis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. I don't know of any other business we have outside of council comments. Mr. Austin?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Blankenship? Mr. Keefe?
No comments.
Mrs. Jones?
Nothing, just thanks to Mark for his updates.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Mr. Reinerson?
I've got nothing tonight, Mayor.
Mr. Taylor?
Nothing, sir.
Mrs. Rhodes?
No, sir.
How about from Mrs. Gray?
Nothing.
Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Second.
Mr. Reinerson, second. All those in favor?
Aye.